Hey. One more day, guys. Today is the last day of August in 2023, and it seems like this year has kind of flown right past. So, wow. We figured I'd just go live tonight and see who wanted to hang out a bit. It's Thursday night. You know, we got Charlie tomorrow. We got Tim and Hannah on Sunday. Rhonda Lundy sent me a message saying God's hand was definitely on them down in Florida during the storm. So they are safe. So that's good. I understand the words Bob uses. Hold on, did I miss something? The weather here is fine. It was actually pleasant today, a little bit cooler. For the whole day, right? It's a little bit cooler. And things pretty good today. Last day of the month. So figured I'd just hang out for a bit, see what everybody was up to. I'll tell you what, I just got off the phone with James. I've got some work to do in the apiary because I'm having colonies collapsing. Just collapsing. And it doesn't make much good sense. However, Chris, to the conversation we had, that one of those was the one that I said that I was seeing the proboscis sticking out. So they're just gone. The bees are just gone. You go out there, yeah, there's a few dead bees in the bottom, but not a lot. Not a lot of dead bees in the bottom, not a lot of beetles, not a lot like with the hive beetles when they take the pollen is falling in the bottom. Wait, hold on. I'm missing the side conversation here. Hold on. Evolution and climate change. I must have missed the whole thing here. I must have missed the whole section, guys. Oh, Umberto's channel. And okay, I got you. And yeah, so it's, I don't know. They're just gone. 2 more colonies gone. One of them was one that I had made all those splits off of early in the season and made a bunch of nukes. So that and then those nukes are doing fine, but that original colony that they came off of is no longer. The one where I took all the stings, where I cut out from underneath the guy's trailer, that one's no longer. They're both gone. They're just gone. I don't know. They're just not there anymore. So I broke them down, set the boxes up on their end to get the sun in there tomorrow. And then hopefully I have time tomorrow. I'll clean out what's in my freezer, put stuff in the freezer to try to kill in case anything's in there. I don't know. I hate to call 4 boxes of deep frames, but it might just be what has to happen. You know, I don't know, guys. So if you want to jump in, links pinned to the chat over there. Haha, almost did the wrong hand. And we're ready to have a conversation. Like Brad. Where's Brad? I see Brad in the chat. Brad will probably come in here. And in case you missed the memo, grandbaby was born yesterday. Super excited about that. Big kid, 9.5 pounds, big hands, great for lifting, hive bodies. So we're ready. I'm already looking for baby bee suits. We got to find one. Got to find one. 1 out of 9 hives look wet, black, shaking, bees all over the ground. Poison, James, you think? So could be. You just don't know what they're spraying around there. Filling my face. What's new? That's like what we do on the show. Chris, do you recognize that? In my truck yesterday, it was raining. I had the, it's got a camper shell on it, has top that opens up like this, right? And and I had my ball cap on. It was raining, so I was looking down, tried to keep the bill of my hat over my glasses so it wouldn't rain on my glasses. And I was walked around the truck and hit my head on the open top part, so it jabbed me in the head. So yeah, see, that's the storm. I don't think I had storm issues because like the inside the hive and all that wasn't wet, but I have something issues on there. And now the problem is, here's my dilemma, my internal dilemma. I don't know why they left. So if I don't know why they left, now I'm like, do I use that comb? Is there something in the comb? Do I just cull and melt it and give them new stuff and let that roll and go with that? That's kind of the things that, looking into, which is one of the things we could talk about tonight. And, so bunches of questions with that. Guys, we've got 21 people watching and 7 thumbs up. So appreciate you that smash that like button. And who knows what Charlie's doing tonight. He might have a bee club meeting. Usually Thursday nights he comes, though. So we'll see. See what happens. It takes time for the notifications to get out there and people to get in. But usually we have a pretty good... My thumbs my thumb us up. Us up. So Chris is on vacation. And nice. All right, cool, Tim. But we're just hanging out tonight, guys. Not poison, just a lot of dead bees. You know what, though? I will say this. So, I was worried about that shaking it down into a single box, but all those colonies are still there. The single deeps or the deep and a half that I have, they're all okay. The only ones I've been losing are double deeps. That's it. Grandpa Bob. And Brad started feeding the bees today. I'm probably going to do that. The swarm that I had in the yard that I was trying to catch, I did catch them. They are in the swarm trooper. I checked them. They're working fine. Bradley.
Robert,
how are you? You doing all right? I'm glad you came and bailed.
I'm exhausted.
Yeah, you were
like
out in the yard today.
Well, I was filling my face. Just got in from work.
Well, we got to do that every day. We got to keep up that strength.
It was quite a day. Really windy out there today. And
does that make it harder to use the hive lifter at all? Or do you find that it doesn't really matter?
No, it's fine. It just gets on my nerves. Like it just frays my nerves working in that all day. It's just terrible. And the bees are starting to rob now, so it's not crazy, but you can't leave stuff open.
You should see the demeanor change in my bees. I don't know that I don't see anything like right around me. There might be something a little bit further away for them to forage, but I was out there just like this, pop the side open, no stings, either there was bees in the box or there weren't. there was feast or famine for real. I mean, it was like literally you go out to a double deep that's been great all season, and you go out there and there's no bees at all, just gone.
Okay. Is there any indication that they swarmed?
Well, I have been having swarms, but my thing is, well, obviously if they did it during the day, I'm not home. However, I didn't see any like big balls of bees anywhere because with double deeps, they should have been pretty sizable swarms.
You'd think. I
And
don't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have much wisdom for you. I have that too. Um, the fact that there's no bees at all, that's kind of weird. But
I mean, just a few dead bees like would be normal, right? If bees die and they moved them out, they
did
or
do you think maybe they got robbed out?
anything's
Big double
possible.
deep though. They should be able to hold their
Yeah,
own
I
against
mean,
almost anything.
I don't know. I'm kind of at a loss because I feel like if it was a hive beetle thing where they got slimed out, there
Well,
would have
you know.
been all the pollen would have been in the bottom, like I showed on that picture with all the larvae in it. That's what you would
Yeah.
have seen. Didn't have that.
So
A bunch of wax cappings, like they got robbed from creatures and they just had cappings in the bottom. You know, that maybe wax moth. To be honest with you, I just pulled them apart because it was kind of late, and I set the boxes out with so the sun could get to them. And
like if anything afflicts them, like the first thing you go to, of course, is the M word. But if anything afflicts them bad enough, they'll just leave. You know, if they get some disease or some
see now where I'm at with
pest, then they'll just leave. So
where I'm at with it is I don't know if it's something in the comb that caused them to leave. Did they get poisoned? I mean, if that's an issue, then I have no way of testing my comb for that. Just call it, or do I freeze it, or do I?
is there dead bees out on the outside? Is there dead bees on the ground?
No, not a nope.
So
Well, then that's
you
hard to
know,
say because we just had a monsoon come through, right? So
yeah, I don't know. I got nothing for you, buddy.
yeah, that's kind of where my thought process is. I'm like, well, I mean, it's just every year I could have great colonies all the way up to this time of the year, and with hive beetles, moss, and swarms after the honey flow,
Mm-hmm.
my colony numbers just go.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you put on top of that, you put the winter losses, and now you're like starting over every year.
Yeah.
And so
I hear you. You know, I kind of go through it too. And, for me, it's usually, I take the responsibility. I say it's my fault because if my colonies swarm, that's my fault. And
right,
I have to be good enough, a good enough beekeeper or an attentive enough beekeeper that I keep that because I don't want to say, well, somebody's not a good beekeeper, their hive swarms, but an attentive enough beekeeper that my hive's not going to swarm. Um,
well, and
because a
that
lot of the times, if they swarm, then they don't requeen properly, or they, something goes wrong. So
I think that's the sideliner dilemma as well, right? For most of us, if you get to the size where you have a ton of colonies, like you said, the bees will tell you if you got too many.
yeah, and swarming is one of those things.
And
Right.
not being, working the full-time job during the day doesn't give me time to effectively work all my
Yeah,
colonies.
yeah. Well, and
So
that might just be the reality of keeping that many colonies with the time that you have available to give to them.
right,
Because June, July, high colony count, that's easy. They love making bees, they love making queens, they grow, almost nothing can hurt them, and all that is
right,
it's the other seasons. I know in my, I think it was my second year or something, I was starting to see some losses, and I was losing my mind, and I was talking to my mentor, and And he just said, "Relax, it's normal." I thought, "What do you mean
Right.
normal? My bees are dying." He says, "Yeah." He says, "Just people don't talk about summer losses." So,
Right. It's
um,
always just, I guess,
so
that's
he
a
said,
pride
he
issue
said, if
though.
you lost 10% of your bees over the summer, that's fine, no big deal.
That's a pride issue though. I think because in the in the spring you can very easily say, "Oh, it's just a winter loss. It was
Yeah,
the
yeah,
winter's fault." In the summer, you got to say it's the beekeeper's fault,
yeah.
right? Like we were just saying, and nobody wants to take that responsibility. Uh, but it's it is what it is. I mean, uh, we'll see what happens, and condense it down. I'm just gonna continue to condense and try to tighten things up, and it,
Yeah, exactly. It's like those those queenless ones. I found some queenless ones out there. Uh, you know, after when I was pulling honey, I kind
right.
of do a quick queen check, and you can tell pretty fast. Something's not right. And
Well, Bruce said something last night that we've been saying on this stream for a year, I think, as far as the way that the flows go, right? So we get it early, and then it kind of moves up the map to Canada, and then then it starts moving back down. But that in between from when we start and it kind of passes the torch until it gets back to us, that dearth period in there, that month to a month and a half, that's right in the middle,
mhm.
wreaks havoc
Yeah,
on, just wreaks havoc on them, even when you feed them. And now it's like, well, if I put frame feeders in or something like that, if they can't consume that inside of that colony quick, the beetles will lay larvae. You'll see larvae in your feeder.
such a pain. Such a pain. Those beetles. It's so
They're
much stuff you can't do. Like we put pollen patties. Like we just here's some pollen patties. It's going to take you 3 weeks to eat the pollen patty. Yeah, that's okay.
if I put this much on there,
Yeah,
they better have it gone.
yeah,
I mean, they
yeah.
literally better get it gone. So it's
But anyway, I was just saying, you do a quick queen check after when I pull the honey, and it's pretty easy to tell. I'm not even really looking for eggs. If I see sealed brood, I'm usually okay. But some of them I rifle
but
through and
it's
there's
got to
nothing.
be new sealed brood, right? If you see new cappings, but when you go through there and you're seeing these are getting ready to hatch, but I'm not seeing any.
Well,
You know,
yeah, but most of what's gone on has happened more than 3 weeks ago, right?
right,
So we're either looking at laying workers or we're just looking at nothing
right.
completely. So normally if I see sealed brood, like if I can look down between the frames and I see some sealed brood, then I'll put a patty on it. Bob's
I
your uncle. We'll move on to the next one.
How long has it been since I got these freeze dried queens in? Probably over a week, right?
Yeah, a
Week and a
couple of
half, two
weeks.
weeks.
Yeah.
One of the guys that remember I advertised before they were coming. I had a guy today. Hey, you got any queens? I can use a queen. Well,
Well, no,
I
not
don't have
now.
any now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like we just keep them on the shelf for you. Oh, hold on. Here's one.
So these queenless ones, I kind of looked at that and I kind of thought, I got a whole whack of nukes off to the side. And they're quite happy, and I'm pretty sure they'll do pretty good going into winter. And I'm thinking, what am I going to do? I go over there and I take a queen, cage her up out of one of my, she's in a nice happy nuke. They're doing good. They're doing fine. She's got her own family going there, and she's got some momentum. And am I going to cage her up, stop her laying for a number of days, take a risk on introduction to another colony? And I got to that point and I said, you know what? No, because what
You
am I
would be
salvaging?
better.
What am I salvaging? Because the honey flow's over,
I think you
right?
would be better to put that nuke. This is just a thought. Put that nuke in the center of a 10 frame box with comb, right? Take that box that's there because you're going to shake it out anyway. put that nuke right there on the bottom board, carry the other ones away and shake them out and let the ones that are going to fly back fly in. And they get there. Oh, mama's
You
home.
could do that. You lose the foraging force from the nuke, but obviously it's going to be less bees. Now, you know what I just said? Honeyflow's over. I'm not salvaging anything out of this. I'm down one. I'm down one regardless, because if I do try to requeen, now I've got a queenless nuke. So, I'm looking for heartbeats at this point, and
Right.
these nukes have really every bit as good a chance at wintering as the others.
And
So it's just a shakeout.
that goes back
So, yeah,
to
thanks for your service and
good resources after bad bees, right?
exactly. Don't throw good resources after trying to solve problems that maybe you should have avoided in the first place.
Right.
Right? You just got to take your lumps, and these are, I'm sure these are swarms. These are swarms, but I got 4 swarms sitting in my apiary that are laying like crazy right now. So
Right.
maybe that's them anyway, right?
Well, I mean, with that being said, like you said, you're down one either way. The nuke is in good shape. My thought, and this is how I look at these now after this year, especially last year was getting that way. This year, I'm totally about it. Is that if they've gone through a whole season, they've had the honey flow, they've had a nice colony, and they can't keep that going, then they need to go. I mean, honestly, they're already dying themselves, right? So why would I put a brand new colony in there that potentially anything that's causing that is then infecting my new nuke that I'm getting ready to put in that box?
Yeah, and those colonies that always want to do that or can't sustain, there's a genetic component there, because I know Ian's been using that that principle for a long time in his queen breeding, and he relies on that ability for them to requeen properly, and his bees do requeen properly very well. Mine maybe not as well. But I think there definitely is a genetic component there. So if you keep breeding that into your stock, then that will get better and better, in my opinion.
And that's very interesting because obviously most of us in here are not treatment-free beekeepers, right? But that is kind of the principle that they rely on.
Sure it is. It is.
So you kind of get that crossover there, right?
We had a question in our association meeting quite a while ago now. I remember it was a couple of years, I'm sure. And the concern was that somebody had a colony and the yellow jackets always get pretty strong and the hornets get strong this time of year. And they said, oh, my colony is not defending themselves against these yellow jackets. And one of our very experienced beekeepers piped up and he said, let them die. Let them die. He said, because there's a genetic problem with that colony that they won't defend their hive.
Right.
And he said, that's not what you want. So,
well, and if all the yellow jackets are eating that colony, they can't really eat the other colonies.
Well, I guess so. Keep them busy.
They're busy. They're tied up, right?
Decoy hive.
Right.
But, so, that really made me think, oh, okay, yeah, there's certain things. And that's what he said. He said, there's something wrong with that hive. So let it go. Just walk away.
Dan, our state fair is not until October here. At least not here, the state fair. I don't know about other like county fairs and stuff like that, but yeah, that's kind of the thing is that in one of the colonies was a triple deep at the beginning of the year. The one that I split all those nukes off of, like 5 nukes to add new queens to, that was an old queen at the beginning of the season. That one kept the mother colony, and the other 5 that came from it, 4 of them are doing really good. One of them is that's the one that I added the extra brood to that we were talking about earlier. But other than that, it's one was a cutout, and one was an old queen that had that I had already split and made 5 colonies off of with brand new queens. So I think that colony did its thing. It multiplied itself 4-5 times and made honey, and now it's lived its lifespan, right? So
Well, okay, so I'm gonna spill the beans here.
oh
Um, remember that one I told you about that was just they're just mean. They actually made me put my jacket on one time. Um,
one time
that one time.
that
Um,
one time at band camp,
that one time at band camp.
I had to put my bee jacket on
Yeah.
because I had hot bees.
Yeah. Okay, so but well, they're just mean. They're just mean, and that's the last one you work that day, right? It's
Right.
always don't touch that one until you're ready to go home because they're gonna pound you. And my whole apiary, I'm fine. I'm fine. I pulled honey. I pulled 65 boxes of honey off today, 65 deeps of honey, and I pulling queen excluder, pulling bee escapes, and feeding bees, and all kinds of stuff, doing everything. I pulled a bee escape off of this thing. Once again, boom, all over me. And again, that is not the first time. This is the third time in like 2 weeks that they have. I just
But it's
open the
just
lid and they just pound me, right? And this is what I'm getting at. I can work my whole apiary. And people might say, "Oh yeah, but you're wearing shorts and a t-shirt." Yeah, I am wearing shorts and a t-shirt. I just worked 90 colonies in shorts and a t-shirt, and it's always this one
right.
that pounds me, right?
That's the same thing that I was saying.
So I took care of them today.
Oh, did you?
They won't be a problem anymore.
Did they get shook out or did they get something else?
Well, they got something else.
Uh-oh.
I'm not going into details, but they won't be a problem anymore.
But is it a very clean hive on the inside now with some
Well,
soapy
not
water?
exactly, I guess, but they got a bath. I'll put it that way. I happen to have a 2.5 gallon pail of water in my hand.
Right. That's a
When
Haas
I was done, the pail was empty.
yeah, he says if they're not right, they're not right. Totally treatment free. Yeah, and hey, I'm not saying anything against I've never said anything negative against treatment free beekeeping, right? Hey, do you?
Yeah.
It's your investment, your time, your money, and it's like if that's how you keep them and it works for you,
That's.
yeah.
I mean, there's merit to the idea, right? And it's got to be a tough road.
Been around forever.
So
survival of the fittest is what it's been called.
So
forever.
I got a certain level of respect for people who go through that. I'm not willing to go through it, but anyway, so that was but they did send me home. I kind of cut things short. I said, "Screw it, I'm leaving."
Right. Hey, Brian, good to see you. Yeah, and that's the thing. I had some of those, but the odd thing about those colonies, they do pretty good. They grow pretty well. They do collect honey because they're so aggressive that nothing's getting close to the front of the hive.
My victory is I took all their honey.
Right.
Don't they're messing with the wrong guy.
But I mean, that's the whole thing with those mean bees. I knew that yes, I had one or two, and they're not mean anymore for whatever reason. They're not right now, but those two mean colonies or handful of mean colonies that I had, I didn't have to worry about them dying out on me. Not from pests, not from
too ornery to go.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody gets close to it, hey, Alex, good to see you.
Excuse me for yawning. It's been a long day, and
you don't even know. So we were on till 1:30 last night talking.
Oh, it wasn't that long. Well, no, my time.
My time.
Your time. Yeah.
1:30 my time.
It was about 1.
Then my daughter that's in Germany that just had the baby called at like 3:30.
Oh.
And then I had to get up for work, right? So it's like, I felt like 100 pounds of manure in a 50-pound sack. That's what I felt like today.
Uh,
But yeah, I've never, with those mean colonies, it's inconvenient to me when I'm working them. However, and even when I'm not working them, because they will come out to me wherever I'm at. Like, ask James, got him right on the face, right? But for the most part, my bees are not like that. And once, like you said, once you identify that, if you work them last, that's not really a problem.
well, I think it's a problem.
Yeah, well, I mean,
When I got this many colonies and I work this many colonies in a day, and it's fine.
so why didn't
And
you
I get to
just
that one, and it's always
okay? So you
then they got to go.
have a plethora of nukes out there.
Yeah.
And I saw somebody said in the chat, I think it was DC, that they were using too big of words at this other chat, so they came over here. So now we got to start using bigger words.
Like hygrometer?
A hygrometer and all that good stuff. Hey, Doug's coming in. Hey, Doug.
Doug? I've been
Congratulations, Grandpa.
Oh, thank you. It's exciting. It's exciting times.
Been there, done that.
It's my first one. So I've got 4 kids, and that's the first one. So first grandbaby, and it was by the baby of our youngest child had the baby the first. So we'll see how it ends up in the long run, how many we get around here. But I told him, I said, you guys need to start giving me grandbabies because I need somebody to take this thing over from me in a few years. When I retire, I'm
grandbabies.
Right. Well, I told you my plan, right? So I'll wait till he's about 4 or 5, and then he'll have to be out there every time I go out to the bee yard. And that way, by the time he's 12 or 13, he'll know everything I know, and he'll be able to just, do it. Hopefully. Of course, if they're not insanely lazy.
Everything
Yeah, it won't take them long.
It won't take long.
10 minutes. 10 minutes. All right, you got your suit on? Good. We're on even keel. We'll learn together.
My dad said that one time. It was there. Somebody gave me a compliment, and he looked at him and he said, "I taught him everything he knows." And I looked at the guy and says, "He taught me everything he knows."
If I should have turned to my dad when something like that. I'd turned to my dad and said, "Yep, is the best 10 minutes of my life."
It didn't take very long either.
One of my favorite, my dad and your dad seems a lot like mine, where they just had like sayings, right?
Yeah.
So one of my dad's favorite saying is, "I came into this world with nothing, and I still have most of that left." So.
So I've been watching your YouTube, Doug. You're getting the extracting done.
All wrapped up.
All wrapped up. Good.
Yeah.
My fall work always gets right in the middle of mine. I got a few days in, and then it's time to finish pulling honey and get the feed on. So now the honey house is quiet with a bunch of work waiting.
Well, see, you guys can do that. You can take that honey off and you can stack it in your barn there, your bee barn, and walk away from it. I can't do that. If I pulled 65 supers today, I would have to extract 65 supers, because if there's any beetles left walking in that on that comb, or if it's not fully capped, it's wrecked. It'll be wrecked very quickly. So
we can't leave our laid honey. Like overnight in the sump, it'll start to crystallize with that canola in it.
Canola, yeah, that's the push here. Yeah. And I don't, generally I don't have any here. I don't think I do this year either. So that really buys me a lot to be able to get my work done and then pick up my extracting again in about a week, because I'm going to be pulling my out yard next week, hopefully.
Yeah. No, if we left it for a week, everything would be plugged right solid with crystallized honey.
Alex, you can come in. You're not like banned.
It's been a strange. Strange year here.
Has it?
Yeah, like early honey was just booming with all the clover. But then we got dried out in this part of the country, so our canola pull wasn't nearly what it should have been, probably.
Oh, wow.
All in all, about an average year with the clover saving us.
Yeah.
That's what James said. His clover started popping again too over there in Manitoba.
It was an
No, not
unbelievable
Manitoba.
pull
Sorry,
over here
Alberta.
for much of the area.
I see dandelions starting to flower again now.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
never seen that before.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Well, this week with the hurricane that just came through, I mean, we're going to be in the high of the 80s this week instead of the highs of the 100s. So it's much more pleasurable to be out there working the bees and not melting as you're walking from colony to colony.
I wonder if the weather that we're having here, I know it is affected. When you guys have tropical storms now, we definitely feel it here. The weather gets pretty goofy.
Well, we had, let me see, I don't know. Haven't looked today to see where they're all positioned. There was 3 of them out in the Atlantic right off our coast. Yeah, here, I'll show it. We'll pop this thing up here. Show you our crazy weather. And there's Alex. Hey, Alex.
Hi. Hello.
Hey, Alex.
How's it doing?
Well, this is the Idalia that just came through us right here, right? I'm right here with this dot. Just came through us. And it's merging with Franklin. That's right here. And this is just Tropical Storm Jose. So we've got 3 of them right here. Last time this happened was back in the early 90s. Hugo merged with another storm. And then once they merged, they turned back inland and came straight across South Carolina. So not hoping for that, but yeah, it's kind of crazy weather out there right now. And let me see, our weather today, it's actually going to be in the 60s tonight, which is kind of unusual, but 79% humidity. So definitely crazy weather down here. Yeah, Keith said Hugo was in a baking storm.
We're real warm here right now.
Like, what, 30?
I've been not beekeeping lately. I've been sitting in an air-conditioned combine, so.
Oh,
yeah,
was it windy there today, Doug?
Not today. It was yesterday.
Oh, it was terrible wind here today.
Alex,
we had that yesterday.
The loudest keyboard known to man.
Yep.
You tap dancing on the keys over there, Alex?
Oh, sorry about that. I mute myself.
The old IBM Selectric.
Yeah.
Ka-chunk, ka-chunk, ka-chunk.
Oh, yeah, he's got a mechanical keyboard. Heavy duty for all the typing. But
those things are unkillable, but they're noisy.
Alex, you should have went with me last weekend. I got a new truck. You could have got a B truck.
Yeah, it's a bit of a hike all the way to your place.
They sell B trucks in Quebec too.
Probably, yeah. But I followed your advice, Brad. I made 5 batches of creamed honey. There's an office party tomorrow afternoon. And I made 6 small pots, 250 milliliter pots of raspberry, blueberry, cinnamon, habanero, and cocoa.
Nice.
Now, see, what you should have done is make 1 each small pots and then a case to sit in your Malibu for when they said, this is really great. Hey, well, I've got it out in the car if you need some.
Do you have more? Do I?
Yeah, do I?
Well,
it's kind of like this. It's like this.
It's really a pain to make, though, because I don't have a blender. So I have to use like the handheld mixer, and it's
Baby
80
step.
minutes of mixing.
Baby
But you
steps,
know what?
man. You get your recipes down and start. You sell a bunch, and then you put that money into a machine to do it, and it's all baby
Put
steps.
that money in a jar and then take it to the machine.
Yeah.
I'm
You get
probably
yourself
gonna
one of
get.
those nice KitchenAid mixers
That's what I've
head
been
things.
thinking. Like I've
Yeah,
been looking for. There's a really nice one on Amazon for $168.
because that's robust enough mixer for you to do that with. They're like the old Hobarts, small Hobart.
Because they're not extremely well creamed, because 80 minutes holding a freaking mixer
Oh
per
no!
pail, and there's 5 pails.
Well, it's what I'm saying. You just baby steps, right? You start into that, and you start selling those and making some profit, and then you buy yourself a creamer.
Well, you see this
Yeah.
right here, right? Take
That's
the
the
orders
plan.
after giving out the samples.
Yeah, you make sure your phone number's on that jar.
Oh, there they are, all of them.
Absolutely.
And
Building an empire, one
I
jar.
also brought sample. I bought those, like, those wooden spoons, and I made 5 like ketchup bottles, like Bob suggested, filled with the 5 flavors I made.
Right on.
Yeah, Vincent Gagne says watch Marketplace for like creamers and stuff like that. And if you haven't heard how Brian did it, he was making batches in 5-gallon pails, right? And he was creaming each one of them. But and he was just mixing them, like I think he said twice a day. And maybe if I screw it up enough, he'll just come in, chat, and correct everybody, and we'll get it straight.
Yeah. It was a lot, and with Alex's work situation, he could do that. Just
right.
kind of get up.
I ended up switching from the ridiculous handheld. I took my wireless drill, put the mixing time from the blender into the hand drill, and used that. It was much more comfortable.
Yeah.
But what he's saying now, what he can do is, because he got the creamer attachment, right, for his license bottler, that it's just constantly slow mixing all day long. And then he figures out, I need, let's say, 5 kg. I'll go metric for you guys. 5 kg. He'll get a 5 kg pail and fill that up with just the base. And then he can use that mixer and just mix in his flavoring in that batch, right? So he's small batching, but he's always got his creamer making the base.
Yeah.
Brian's
right that even a KitchenAid mixer, we've got the biggest one they make, and it's still not big enough for production. But what it is it's the mixer for your recipe development, for making smaller batches to work out your proportions and your recipes, try out new flavors.
How chocolate is chocolate. You can make a chocolate peanut butter, like a Reese's
honey and cocoa
peanut butter cup.
Cream honey. It's amazing.
See, and if you think it's amazing when you've tasted, go ahead, Doug.
Sorry, what, Doug?
Our creamer holds 45 gallons, and I filled it 6 times this fall. And one of those batches, we made cinnamon honey. And I find when you're adding stuff like cinnamon and flavor, you have to get it into your chiller real quick. Otherwise, a lot of that stuff will want to float to the top. You'll have everything up at the top and nothing at the bottom.
So the trick is
we get it into the chiller as quick as we can when we add.
So it gets so thick that it makes it hard for that flavoring to come to the top.
Yeah, because it's less dense than the honey, so it floats.
Yeah.
Does your creamer, Doug, does it have a chilling mechanism to it so that it can chill as it does its stirring?
No.
Okay.
No, I've got a big deep freeze that I use, and I've got a thermostat fixed on it so it stays at 53 degrees.
Right. I know some of them have creamers are chilled, so that would help to get it chilled down.
Yeah.
Right on. Right on.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to start with a 45-gallon creamer, Alex. You can maybe go,
I'll start with the Amazon blender that can do it like batches
20
of like this
kg or
big.
something. Yeah, but I mean when you actually want to jump into a creamer, you can still get something that'll fit a 5-gallon pail instead of a barrel.
Yeah,
Baby
Yeah.
steps.
and use the blender to mix in the flavors once we make 5-gallon batches. Because the way I had to do it, I took like pails about this big, and I used the blender attachment into a hand drill, and just took elastics so it kept a constant speed, held it at like held the drill on both hands like this, and just blended for 80 minutes, 20 minutes at a time. Over, I was able to make 2 a day for during the week because it's mind-numbingly boring.
Well,
It's not
that's the good
boring
thing
when they
about
start giving you money for it, though.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I figure like I could probably sell each pot $10, and it cost me 60
Easily.
in materials.
Easily.
So that's it,
200,
$240 profit.
For
250 gram?
for every gallon of liquid honey we sell now, we'll sell 10 gallons of cream.
Really? And the seed I
Yeah.
got for the cream is pretty nice. It's really smooth. I couldn't get it all the way up to there because, like I said, 80 minutes, and I was bored out of my skull. But it's still pretty decent, and I still have some of the seed left. Well, I can use it to make like a bigger batch. Because I can turn like it's about 500 grams I got left, so that's about, let's say, 10%. So I could make that's 5,000 grams, so 400.
kg.
Yeah,
5
4.5 thousand grams of, and once I can turn that into a bigger seed for larger batches. Because I do have like the long paint mixers. I can hook that up to a wall plug drill, so I could blend a larger batch. But I didn't need those quantities for what I had the resources to make. I only had like 30 pots.
Well, good. Way to go.
building
I'll
an
tell you
empire.
probably Saturday if there's another stream how well it sold. But the sample idea was.
Oh, we've been having streams. We just haven't been having Alex, is what's been happening. We've been streaming. We've been here.
Sorry, there's been things happening around here, so I couldn't get on as much.
Hey, if I can get a grandbaby and a live stream or a stream in on the same night, no excuses.
Maybe one day I'll be able to give you details, but yeah.
You need to use low torque drill. Don't break your wrist, is what he says.
Yeah, but I was holding in both hands with an elastic, keeping the speed steady. So I was holding the drill like this and rotating as it was spinning, so double rotation. It made a decent creamed honey, but nowhere near as thick and smooth as the seed because of limited.
But that happens as time goes on, right? You don't want it that thick when you start because you got to be able to pump it if you're using a bottler or something like that to fill it and then chill it, and then it'll solidify a little bit more, I think. And I have never made it, so I'm talking just from.
I didn't know I needed to chill it, so that's good. Well, thank you for that, Doug.
Yeah, I think
no, it's
you're
too late. It's already. It's already.
You don't have to get it. You don't have to get it real thick before you start to bottle it. Once the crystals start, and they'll set fine.
It's just a matter of time, right?
We will pump ours fairly easy. Yeah. And
so what temperature are you bottling
clover
at?
honey we were doing? What's that?
For that? What temperature do you bottle creamed honey at?
Be right back.
Is there a
I'm gonna
specific?
go
Don't
get
even
some
look
honey.
at the temperature.
You just been doing it so long, you're like, yep, that looks about right. Let's go. Start bottle.
Well, our cooler's set at 53 degrees. That makes it's supposed to be the temperature for making proper crystals.
Flower, she says you'll get better with every batch you make. So that's the thing. Down here, creamed honey's not a big thing. So
Yeah.
that could be a whole market down here that nobody knows about.
Yes, people love it. People love it. I know a buddy that's taken a lot of creamed honey down south, and he just can't haul it down there fast enough. People just love it.
Yeah.
So that could be a thing. It'd be like where, hey, I don't have any regular honey, but I've got all this creamed honey.
I handed and to show you the opposite situation here, and I attribute it to the prevalence of canola honey, because canola honey really should be creamed, and it makes a delightful creamed honey. But I handed a jar of liquid honey to a friend who's my age, and she looked at me and I said, "Here's some honey," and she looked at me and she said, "What is this?" I said, "It's honey." "Well, what do you mean honey? I thought honey was usually white and spreadable, not this pouring liquid thing." And she was totally serious.
She hadn't seen it before.
No, she didn't know that honey came in liquid, I guess, because creamed honey is like that's what you buy, right?
That's the
That was awful funny.
who knows? I still got 10 gallons of runny honey outside, so maybe that's something that I try to make a small batch of creamed honey just to let people try it and see how it goes.
Moisture content is like, if the moisture content is higher, it's tough. It's tough to cream it. Like, moisture content should be down.
Depends on the flowers too. Our
Yes.
the clover stuff we were doing, it would take probably 7 to 10 days to set. The
Yeah.
Right.
stuff I'm doing now has got canola in it. It's 24 hours.
Yeah.
It's quick.
Yeah. My honey.
The one
is a
thing we
little
have
tougher
had,
to cream.
we have a lot of Orientals that question the creamed honey. They want to know what you've added to it. They don't really think it's real honey.
Yeah.
But they're the only ones that ever question it.
Yeah.
That's when you here, try this in the bottle that flows.
I don't imagine, Alex, that you're going to have a 11 or 12 degree controlled environment for that, but stick that in the fridge all you can. That'll be next best thing.
You know what's
I
hilarious?
have 2 small types of bottles. So this is habaneros. It makes a slightly orangish honey. Well, the camera doesn't do it justice, but there's a slight orange tinge from the peppers. And this kind of pot,
Cinnamon?
that's raspberry.
Okay.
And I made sample bottles.
Now, how will that work as far as squeezing it out of there being thick like it is?
It's not super thick. Like I said, it didn't have.
It will be.
Yeah, it'll get thicker probably.
It's going to be given out tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah. Well, you might be okay.
So
don't put that one in the fridge.
Doug, what I find hilarious about what you just said about the Orientals is that everybody else in the world questions Oriental honey, and then they
They know better.
Yeah, and then they come here. They come to Canada, and they're questioning your honey, right? It's like, you sure that doesn't have rice syrup in it? I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
You know who else buys a lot of my honey? People from the Middle East. Middle Eastern people around here will buy it almost by the case just for their own use here.
Wow.
Which I think is kind of cool that just different nationalities come here. We've got a lot of Hispanics, so they come by and buy it. Can't speak English. What is it? Meal. Okay, great. $10 or whatever. And they'll buy it. buy it quick. When I'm sitting out there,
Before COVID,
Go ahead,
before
Doug.
COVID, we shipped 20 pallets. We shipped 20 pallets of creamed honey to China. They give us their crap and they want the good stuff back.
So buy their crappy stuff cheap and then cream it and send it back to them and make a profit.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
smart thing to do. Feed them their own crappy fake honey.
The
Yeah.
it's rice flavored creamed honey.
I saw a video of somebody making fake honey, and it's like sugar syrup, a thickener, and dye and flavor. There you go, honey. That's
Well, you know, I don't like a dollar store here, Dollar General or Family Dollar, and they sell honey in the little bear that's like $3.50, right? And I'm sitting here thinking, there's no way that's pure honey. It can't be. There's no way. Either that or they're just buying so much of it that the people at the plant just give them a crazy deal.
oh, those prices. This is funny, honey. It's not real. Buy one, send it to the lab, have it analyzed, see what comes back. I'd be curious.
Well, I mean, if you watch YouTube will say there's all kinds of ways to determine if it's real honey or not. And
Oh yeah.
and I don't know that I believe half of that.
Most, if not all of them.
Yeah, that's why the honey inspection agencies use millions of dollars worth of equipment to determine if there's adulteration happening.
Right.
Because it's easy to find out in your kitchen, but they just don't know that.
Right. You just drop it through a glass of water, and if it
Whatever.
yeah.
You, it's like, give
How
your
do you
head
know
a
it's
break.
real honey? Well, you see my bees right there. That's kind of first indication that it's not syrup.
You don't need a $20 million NMR machine. You just need a glass of water. What's the matter
Right.
with you?
That's right. But yeah, I'm looking at these creamer machines, and God bless them. At some point, man, whew, you might as well just say, you don't even have to look at the catalog. If you're a backyard guy or a small scale sideliner or something like that, just say any piece of equipment I want to buy, you need at least $2,000. That's it. $2,000. I can get whatever I want, one piece. That's it. And then hope shipping's gentle on you.
That's
I'm lucky. I have several.
That's 3,000 here.
Supply store.
3,000
At least.
I mean, so I'm looking at two different items here. One is a 150 liter unheated creamer, and one's a 200 liter unheated creamer. And one of them is $22.78 US, and the other one is $23.92. It's the same creamer on a different size vessel. So it's like $100 difference between 100 or 50 extra liter vessel.
Yeah, may as well pay the extra 100.
And they do sell just the attachment, but it's $1,145. But that won't fit on my bottling tank, right? Made by the same brand. I have to buy another tank that one will actually fit on. So, which is pretty unique. But it's
and then you need a pump to get it out of there.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why I'm gonna stay small scale. Maybe like a 5-gallon creamer at first.
Oh, we
start small scale, Alex.
Yeah.
Start small scale.
Well, first thing I'm gonna get is the blender from Amazon, the $160 blender. Then I'll see.
Start small scale. You start making your product. You get into a couple of specialty stores, and you get into the stores, and then they can never keep your product on the shelf long enough. So they're always asking you for more product, more product, more product. And you think, oh, okay, well, we can sell a lot more product. So then you can invest in something else and get a bigger creamer and a chiller
Yep.
fridge kind of a thing. And,
But
you know,
flavored honeys, I think you're right, and I have to sell them myself. I can't sell these retail. I have to sell them myself.
you will.
Why can't you do like James does and rent the store space and then sell
Well, I
them?
mean, there's regulations as far as I can tell. Let you
Yes, there is.
about flavors.
Well, the
But
way
all you're going
James,
to do is use a commercial kitchen. You're just going to rent a commercial kitchen to make your batches, and they're pretty common. Like a lot of community clubs, churches, that kind of thing. They have commercial kitchens they'll
There's a
rent out.
church about 5 minutes walk from
Yep.
here.
and they would probably
There's
love the
lots of-
fact that their kitchen that only gets used once a week is getting a little bit of extra money in for the church. Of course. Yeah, Brian's, I mean, you guys are exactly right. That's kind of my whole philosophy right there, unless it comes to buying a new truck. Other than that, that works. So, did you see my video on my truck, Alex?
No, I've been busy this week.
It's yeah, it hurt
You
my
got
heart.
a shiny new truck and you want to rub it in my
Well,
face?
I got a shiny new used truck. I didn't buy a brand new truck, but it's pretty close. I mean, it was a 2021. It had 34,900 miles on it. A Ford F-250 with the 7.3 liter gas engine. And traded out of my F-150. So it was definitely an investment. I'm going to say that. So
Yeah, but it's a pickup rather than a hatchback, right?
oh yeah, it's definitely a pickup.
That must be so much better.
It's well, I had the F-150, right? So the thing is, I couldn't haul a tote of syrup in the back of my F-150. I could pull one on a trailer, then I'd have to buy a trailer, and it would have to be a lightweight trailer that may not hold the weight of the syrup. So
Yeah, water's heavy. Syrup's heavier.
So yeah, went that route. So at any rate, that by the time it was all said and done with all of the taxes and all that on the vehicle, $54,000.
Ouch.
So yeah, that's what I said too. Stabbed me in the heart, but you know what? It should last me a long time. So and it's red and bright and shiny. So other than that, I mean, I don't pull big trailers and stuff right now as far as being able to move colonies and stuff like that. I don't have a easy loader and all that stuff, but one thing that I realized real early is I did need a truck. I mean, there's just too much stuff.
I realized that too.
Everybody needs a truck. It's just a lot of people don't realize it.
Right. So if you got 50 colonies and it's time to put honey supers on and it's an out yard, you have to move at least to start with 50 supers, right? So how many supers can you fit in your Malibu?
Mediums? If I push it, 18.
18. So you're still talking 3 trips back and forth from the apiary to your house to the apiary to your house, 3 times. So where you could put all 15 of those, or maybe not 50 in the back of a truck, but you could put a good bit of them in the back of a truck.
2 trips on a pickup truck and you'd be done.
And if you could put 15 in the back of the Malibu or 18 in the back of Malibu, you could probably fit 50 You think you fit 50 mediums in the back of the 250 or your Ram, Brad?
50?
Yeah.
Well, in my half ton?
Yeah.
I don't know. I had my red truck had a 6.5 foot bed, and I had 28 deeps in the back of it, and it was full.
Well, he's talking
Um,
mediums.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that's what I'm kind of relating, right?
Mhm.
My new Ram has a shorter bed yet, so wouldn't go that 50 mediums. If you had an 8 foot bed, easy, but 6.5 foot bed, that'd be tight.
But then if you incorporate that trailer on the back, well, now you can definitely get them all in one trip, right? So baby steps.
And when I did that, I didn't even put the tailgate up. I strapped it because I was only 3 miles from home, back roads. So yeah, no. If you're dealing with a 6.5 foot bed, you get an 8 foot bed, you can get lots in there.
Well, I mean, it's just.
I
Go ahead, Doug.
I got to tell you guys about a little thing that happened to us this year extracting that's maybe a lot of people should take note of. My wife has worked with us every now and then out in the bee yards. You get the odd sting. And this summer, yeah, I got up early one morning. I was cleaning up after a day's extracting in the honey house. My wife came in and was giving me a hand. Next thing I noticed, she disappeared. A few minutes later, I went outside. She's sitting in a lawn chair, and she's saying, pain in my neck. She's just couldn't get over the pain, and she's laboring to breathe and that. And I didn't know what the heck was up, whether she was having a stroke or didn't know. So I loaded her up in the car. The closest hospital is about 30 minutes away, and started heading for the hospital. And about 5 minutes down the road, I said, "You didn't happen to get stung today, did you?" And she said, "Yes, I did on my finger." She started to develop an allergy to the stings. She's been stung many times before, nothing to show. But she said the first thing you notice, she said, heat, my body, she said it just felt like the heat started at your feet and went to your head, just terrible hot. And then I guess this is pain as the muscles starting to contract or something up and around the neck. So if you're ever in one of those situations, that's what it is.
That happened to me.
Epi's her best friend now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, Doug. You said she's been stung many, many times. How often would you say she's been stung?
Well, she was stung once just the week before. This year, probably maybe 4 or 5 times, Brett.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Because there's apparently some kind of correlation there. It's a very strange thing. I try to get my wife to get stung regularly. That seems to be, the way to stave this thing off. Well, I remember when I was young, there was a thing called beekeeper's wife, right? That's what they called it, beekeeper's wife, because beekeeper's wife was always anaphylactic or allergic to bee stings, and that's why, because they're exposed to the proteins and stuff of the bees, but they don't get stung as often or at all. My mother, that's exactly what happened to my mother. So I'm glad she's okay. That's a close call.
Yeah.
I had effects after being stung numerous times by a colony, right? That cut out. And that's how I ended up getting these, because I went to the doctor and they're like, yeah, let's just give you some just in case. Now I've taken other stings afterwards. No problems, right? But every once in a while, I'll take a sting on the hand or a sting on the eyebrow or something like that, and all of a sudden you wake up the next day and it looks like someone punched you in the face. Or
because the tissues around the eyes are really soft and they swell pretty bad when you get stung. I got one too, just like you said, Bob, and like my eye was swollen shut.
The
4 years, that's a long time.
Well, hey, at least it was a cheap treatment. Hey, come out in the apiary with us today, hun. Don't worry about that bee suit. You don't need that for venom therapy.
Well, we keep an EpiPen in the honey house because we have different people come and work every now and then, and you don't know whether they're allergic to it or not. So
they probably don't even know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the.
Well, I proved today that I'm not allergic, not yet.
Catch some today.
Doug was it. I don't know if Doug was watching when I told a story about this one. I got this one colony. I can work 100 colonies in shorts and a t-shirt, and I get to this same one. It doesn't matter what I do; they're just pounding me when I open that lid. So I took care of them today. I got pounded for the last time. I took all their honey too. So
Phone the
I
queen,
don't
gave
know
her
what
the hive
happened.
test and dumped the bees.
We
what's
we
that?
had one hive, we had one hive this summer. We had about 5 honey supers on it, and those things come out of there and after us like you would not believe. I bet we were 300-400 yards away. They were still chasing you. Come back, pulled it. They're as mild as could be. I don't know what
Really?
happened to them that one day, but they were. I'd never seen anything as ugly as they were.
Well, the first time it happened, I thought, okay, maybe just the day. And the second time it happened, I thought, your guys are mean. And then today it happened again, and I thought, that's it. That's the end of that.
They took a shower.
Of all the reasons to lose a colony, that's probably the best reason, I think.
Yeah, we went through the bush. They chased us right through the bush. Like I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, last week when I put on the treatments, I had another one of those like this single bee that just will not give up. You saw the satellite image of my apiary, right, Brad? So I went from the apiary all the way to the road, and it was still trying to sting me.
Oh, yeah, I remember now. Yeah, that's a long way. That's eighth of a
Like
mile or something.
not that long, not a mile. It's
Not that
maybe
far.
300 meters, maybe 300
Well,
meters.
yeah, eighth of a mile. Like,
Yeah, it got a face full of off. Then it left.
carry a can of that Raid wasp foam. That'll take them right out of the air.
I always have a bottle of off on me. When I'm done, I just spray around my face so they leave me alone. Made her mad and wanted to be a hero. Yeah, well, the hero choked on off. Threw him spray glue.
Well, they're lucky. I forgot that I had a can of Raid wasp foam right behind me. I forgot. I'd emptied that can. I was so mad. I'd emptied that can right into that hive.
So how did you get rid of it? Did you find the queen and squish her and dump the bees, or just kill the whole thing?
No. I didn't do anything. I just left it sitting where it is. The lid is on the ground.
Okay, you just dumped everything?
No, I just left it.
Oh, okay.
I ran away.
I thought you said you took care of the hive.
Well, that big thunderstorm tonight will take care of them, I think. I had a nice pail of fresh syrup for them too. I thought I'm going to feed them, and they wouldn't let me. So you're not getting fed. You're not getting my syrup. I'm going to waste expensive syrup on you. I'm not even going to waste a lid.
We haven't started to feed yet. There's still a bit of enough flour. There's a little bit of stuff coming in yet, so we'll probably start feeding after the long weekend.
I started feeding my strawberry field bees with really, really thin, like 7 cups of sugar to 3 gallons, so they draw more comb for the winter when I feed them 2 to 1 later on once the apivar is removed.
Yeah, we don't want the queen to shut down just yet, so hopefully they're leaving a little bit of room.
The
Yeah, I always have trouble with that. One of my first years with singles, my first year with singles, I was late on feeding, and they got compromised because they got too hungry, and I think I feed probably a little more than I should or a little earlier than I should as a result of that experience. So, you know, I think there is a little tiny flow. At least there was up until a day or two ago.
There was a pretty well when I this weekend there was one for sure where I could see the bees rocketing in and out from the mud field apiary. There was a lot of activity there. And yeah, I like I said to Brad earlier, I got myself some a packet of formic acid so I could leave
I'm gonna grab a drink.
the really wet supers to cure. Because 2 weeks ago they were dripping with nectar. I getting this in my house would have been an option, but I think I would have lost too much. Whereas now I can let them take advantage of the fall flow and get more honey. And if and just in case the oxalic acid is not enough, I'll just smoke them with oxalic acid. I got an Instavap, so I'll use it. It's a pretty good machine.
Yeah, I've heard good things.
I'd recommend it. That Jono EasyVap is good because it's cheap, it works well, but you need a car or a generator. And the Mudfield apiary does not like cars. Got stuck twice, never again.
Our host left. Bob, where'd you go?
I don't know. I wasn't listening when he spoke.
Dead air, Bob. We got dead air in here.
Like, we should all hide when he's about to come back.
You still got extracting
So, Alex,
to go.
Yeah,
So-
well, are you asking me, Doug?
Yeah.
Yeah. I got, I don't know, what did we get, about 3,000 pounds in the pail, and then, I always have to take a break because I have to finish up getting the rest of the honey in, and then getting the feed and the patties and medications, everything done. So sometimes the honey house takes a week of a break, or maybe even longer.
Yeah.
So I got quite a bit. I would estimate that I've got another 5,000 pounds to extract, which takes me a while in my old radial. So I got a good week, 10 days in the honey house yet.
Yeah.
So what we're talking about here is single brood chamber management. And where's Charlie when you need him?
Popcorn Charlie.
He's probably watching. Taking the night
So I was going to tell you, Alex, I got my hive lifter working today, and I pulled 65 deeps of honey today. And
Nice.
I mean, that was just before I started mixing or feeding syrup pails and stuff. So that worked
You should
really
tell
well.
Charlie that.
Charlie feels like he's got to put his hands on it to, test drive that thing.
Charlie needs to just write a check.
Just write.
He won't hate it.
And once he gets used to it, it's like anything else. There's a learning curve. And once you get used to it, then you're like, man, how did I ever do this any other way?
There is. And every fall when I start using it again, I'm all thumbs for the first, couple of hours with it. And then like today, I'm one hand in the thing, making things go up and down and setting things on other things. And
Charlie's preparing for his stream tomorrow.
Oh, I see.
So I did the conversion. The grandson was 4,310 grams. That's what his weight was.
So 4.5
That
kilos.
means nothing to me.
9 pounds, 8 ounces, 9.5 pounds.
I can relate to that.
So the and
That's so weird because metric and there's depends on what you're talking about. Whether I'll want to talk metric or imperial.
well, the thing is
It's
that
just
he was
crazy.
born in a German hospital, right? So
Yeah,
everything that like all the
Must be
stuff that
metric.
is all metric. So it's like
Yeah.
now I'm over here converting to figure it out. So
You want to talk how far something away is? I want to talk kilometers, and then if you want to talk what kind of fuel economy my truck gets, I'll tell you it gets 18 miles to the gallon.
right.
Yeah, Canada uses a weird blend of imperial and metric.
My
look-
oven is in Fahrenheit, and everything else is in Celsius.
And he was 56 centimeters long.
That's half a meter.
So big old kid, big honking kid. So
He'll be
That's
able to pull
almost
deeps.
a foot and a half long.
to be
He
able
was
to
big
lift-
enough to slap the doctor.
that, yeah.
Big enough to slap the doctor. Get his slap and turn around and say, "Don't start something you can't finish, doctor."
Right. But yeah, they show the pictures and you see babies seem to have these abnormally big hands when they come out, and it's like, yeah, that'll lift it deep. We're good to go. So it's exciting. I'm sorry to keep talking about grandbaby because I know there's other people that got grandbabies, but this is my first grandbaby.
That's okay.
So,
That's okay.
You have a great point. Go ahead and be proud, man. Your first grandkid.
yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Well, it's not a problem. The problem is that, for a lack of a better word, is that his dad's in the military, so they just moved all over, right? So don't get to necessarily see him until like May when they move back to the States from Europe. And then they're moving down to Florida, so that's still 9 hours, right? But for James, that's like half a day drive.
Commute. That's a commute.
Yeah, commute. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just I got to go get gas. I'm going down to Tampa.
Yeah. I hear it's a cent a liter cheaper in Tampa. I'm gonna go there for gas.
So
You might have to get air conditioning.
right, he might have to get air
Definitely.
conditioning in his truck.
I'm gonna go to Florida in that thing.
But it's so. I already told him. I told my stepson, my son-in-law. I said, you need to get a truck because they got cheap B boxes down in Florida, and you might just get a random call that you need to go this weekend and pick those up. And I'm gonna come. We're coming down this weekend, and I'll just bring them back. So we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, this is it's definitely new. It's different. I mean, it would probably be even different still if they were here where I could be right there, hold the little guy and all that. But it's like it's like this, right? It's just like this. Well, I seen the baby on a stream, I'll know him when I see him, but don't really know him like that yet. So a minion.
When my kids got big enough, we didn't have to go in toy stores or anything anymore. It was just great. But along come the grandkids, and you're back in those damn toy stores again.
Yeah. And then here's the thing: my kids would be like, "Well, he wouldn't have bought that for me when I was a kid." It's like, why are you buying that for him? Why does he have the big Power Wheels and we didn't get the Power Wheels?
That's a granddad's job.
Right.
That's why. It's not a dad's job.
Well, the funny thing is, my brother on his first grandson, my brother runs equipment, right? Backhoes, track hose, bulldozers, all that stuff. So he bought him a bulldozer Power Wheel. So kid would be rolling down the road and dropping the bucket and scooping stuff up as much as you can with plastic. But there's that thing. So but I don't have to buy the kid food every day, so I should have a lot more money to do things
And
like that.
diapers.
Yeah, that's what Lisa, spoil them, feed them full of chocolate, and send them home. That's it.
The kid loves you. The parents hate you.
That's
right.
it. And I hope my daughter isn't one of these that says, well, we're trying to feed him healthy. So, yeah, we're going to get chicken nuggets and French fries. That's what we're getting.
That's right.
That's what's
right.
happening. That's the thing. That it's just going to be whatever,
Restrict that diet, it'll grow up to be allergic to everything in the world.
I mean, you gotta let kids be able to play in the dirt. That's how you build immunity.
That's exactly how you build it.
That was the saying. When you got hurt when you were a kid, how many times did you hear, rub some dirt in it? Let's go. We got to work.
Yeah.
That was a thing here.
Rub some dirt in it, it'll stop bleeding.
Yep. And let's go.
No
better,
kidding.
Better than iodine.
Oh, yeah. Or that mercurochrome or whatever it's called. Mercurochrome.
Put some grease on it. Put some grease on it. Grease is antibacterial, antimicrobial. Honey is, but I mean, grease, that's great. You're working on an old machine, it's greasy and oily. You don't get infected cuts off of that stuff. But that's the truth, Bob. The third world, no allergies.
Yeah, that's true. You don't hear about it.
Because they don't have they don't live in the clean bubble like we do. Dishwashers created a lot of allergies because the dishes are now way cleaner than they used to be. They're sanitary. Hand wash dishes aren't sanitary, and they're more healthy as a result.
Right. You got to have the right amount of bacteria. Too much, you get sick. Not enough, you get sick.
That's right.
Let's see.
When the plague went through England many, many years ago, they found out the beer drinkers, none of them got sick. It was the people drinking the water that got sick.
Because the fermentation.
Yeah.
Let that be a lesson to you.
Right. Yeah. Drink more beer.
Drink more beer.
And Duff
really beer. Like beer snuffed the bubonic plague on some people, or prevented, I should say.
Well,
that's interesting.
I think a lot of that was because of the rat feces, right? So they would heat the water and sterilize the water. I mean, it might still have particles in it or whatever, but
actually, it was the bubonic plague was fleas on rats, and people made it worse because they blamed cats, which controlled rats. So they killed a ton of cats. Rat population exploded, made it even worse.
So it looks like at the Kentucky Fried conference there that they're recommending 2-ounce bears for honey swaps. 2-ounce bears. That way you can carry 1,000 of them in your suitcase.
2,000 ounces. I can just imagine like the scanner at the airport just sees rows and rows of bears in a suitcase.
Yeah, going through the scanner there. What is this? Why are there all these little tin discs in there? All the little discs that they use for seals that got the foil wrapper on them that's getting x-rayed, and they're like, what is all this? This is the $1 million coins.
Do you know Jeff Dunham, Bob, or Brad, or Doug?
Yeah.
He told a story once of going through customs, and custom agent opens a case for one of his puppets, and he goes, it was like the grouchy character, like the old grumpy old man. Walter. And he goes, close the damn door!
Close the door! What the hell?
The custom agents did not take it kindly.
Yeah. They got no sense of ha-ha.
At all.
I don't like that word bear. Yeah, the one on camera again. I'm not far from the yard.
Uh-oh. Yeah, I don't know why, they wanted me to put honey in bears. I don't like bears so much. They're not my friend.
I'm glad there's nothing bigger than Wisconsin raccoon over here. For bears, you gotta go more, like in about an hour north at least.
We
You
never
fence
we
a
never
lot of your
just-
yards, Doug, or you don't have to fence out there?
I haven't been fencing. I shot one in the yard, right in our farmyard this year.
Yeah.
But
Did you cook it?
no, we have to report it within 24 hours, and then
They
they
won't-
come and pick it up.
Won't let you take it
Yeah.
because they don't want you shooting it so you can take it. That's why,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If you're at your house and it's sitting there and it's in a pile of blood, they know that you shot it right there, right?
Yeah, but they don't want you shooting it because you can.
They don't
take
want you hunting it.
Right.
They just want you to kill
There's
it because
there's
it's a
no
nuisance.
value to it to me as a landowner to shoot the bear, right? Because conservation comes and gets it.
They don't want you selling parts to the Chinese either.
Well, that too.
Yeah. But we're not in bear country. Like for years, we didn't know what a bear was, and now too many.
There's way too many bears right now. There's a lot of bears, and they're
Yeah,
big
I was
problem.
combining the other day to put one out of the field.
Here, like at the state fair, they'll have like buffalo jerky, bear jerky. There's they'll make all different kinds of jerky that you can sell there or buy. But let me see.
I only ate bear once. It was about 50 years ago. Don't remember.
I was about to ask, how does it taste?
Well, I don't recall that it tasted any different than anything else. It tasted fine. I didn't object to it because I didn't know what it was.
Brad, you're like me. It looks like you don't object to many foods on the plate.
Oh,
Like,
peanut.
I'm not overly fond of red meat. I don't eat a lot of it, but I don't mind it either. I prefer like chicken and fish usually.
I subscribe to the theory I don't eat anything that could eat me.
The
Cows don't eat you. Pigs won't eat you. Well, wild ones will, but those are different. Those ain't good eating anyway.
Boar?
Yeah, those wild boars here.
But wouldn't it feel so much better, Doug, if you shot a menacing bear and were able to cook it? Then you're like payback for tearing up the mouth.
The amount of wood ticks I saw crawling off of them, I wouldn't want to eat them. I can tell you that.
Yikes!
Yeah.
Buffaloes can kill you, but we eat all their wings all the time.
Yeah, their wings. That's why buffaloes don't fly.
Right, because
But the
Because
buffalo
you keep
doesn't.
taking the wings.
we keep taking their wings from them. And I just happened to see a commercial for Buffalo Wild Wings, and it's got a buffalo with like big wings on it. So that's
And they went and harvested the wings off the buffalo.
they harvested
Poor
the
buffalo.
wings once a year. They grow new ones, and we have to get them again.
Poor buffalo.
That's so strange.
DC says when he lived in Alaska, he was exposed to a few foods some don't eat. I'll be curious to know how that peanut butter honey comes up. Peanut butter creamed honey that Carl's trying.
Peanut butter and honey mix really well. It tastes so good.
So, Alex, you need to make a very small batch just to tell me how it is. Use the cacao and the peanut butter and see if it tastes like a Reese's peanut butter cup honey.
Well, cacao honey tastes more like fudge than chocolate.
But when you add the peanut butter,
Chocolate is based in fudge is made out of chocolate, but the taste is not quite chocolatey. It's really
Add the
good.
peanut
though.
butter.
but you add some peanut butter to it.
Yeah, I could try it if I have any leftovers.
Or here's just an idea: make a peanut butter sandwich and put the cacao honey on it.
I don't
And
have
that
any.
Probably tastes like Nutella or something. Then you could sell all of your honey to Nutella and say, "Look, you have a new a new line here, Nutella honey. Then you're a millionaire and you can retire from beekeeping altogether.
I'd still have some hives. Even if I retired, I'd
You'll
keep
be
some
the
hives. I need
next
something to
Burt's
do.
Bees.
Burt's Bees, yep.
That's a sad story, isn't it? Poor Bert.
Well, I don't know the whole story, but I know he started out as a beekeeper and then started making that stuff. And then I think he got out of beekeeping, but still makes the Burt's Bees product with other people's beeswax.
No, he was kind of a old hermit beekeeper, and
I'm
he
a
got mixed
hermit.
up with this woman who
Well, that's the end of the
designed
story right
like,
there. He got mixed up
well,
with a woman. We know the ending.
she made this Burt's Bees thing take off, right? And he worked with her for a while, and then he finally had enough of it, and but he was stuck in a contract that he was the face of the company, and he had to travel all over the world, and he didn't like any of it.
Right.
He did it. He was a good guy, though. He did it, and I remember the little documentary that I saw. He sat in a chair in his yard, and he said, "A good day is when you don't need to go nowhere and nobody shows up." So you can see what kind of guy Bert was. You know, he
Yeah.
just wanted to do his
I
thing
kind
and
of
leave him
agree
alone.
with that, though. I mean, I don't mind going places, but sometimes I just don't want to do any. I don't want to go anywhere, right? I sit here on the computer, veg, or watch Netflix, or go work the bees all day, unmolested by anything. But without fail, if I'm out working the bees, people are stopping because he's there. Let's get the honey now. We see him there. Doesn't matter that he's got bee boxes everywhere and bees are flying everywhere. We'll stop in the driveway and look at him like he's crazy for making us wait till he reassembles the colony to come and give us our jar of honey. So
gotta get it fresh,
right? Just you got your jar. Hold on. Okay, in about 20 minutes, that jar will be full.
The beehive.
Yeah. Hey, thank you, Robert. I appreciate that, buddy. That's the thing. Well, hey, that makes a strong point for having one flow hive in the yard.
It does. It
and
does.
You're like, you come up, and actually, there's probably a way that you could put electronic lock, and if somebody scanned the QR code, it unlocked the little thing.
Yeah.
the unlock the little levers to crack the hive open, right? Say little training session.
For sure, you could like cobble something together to do it like that. For sure.
Trouble is, I believe flow hive that you can't stop. Right?
Once you crack that thing, you gotta drain it all.
You gotta drain it, right? So you can't just say, "I'm going to take a little jar of honey." No. You're going to take all the honey out of that frame, right?
So then
it won't stop. Oh my God, what do I do?
Honey all over the ground, bees drowned in it.
I've got my jar, and they leave. You come back, and there's a big pool of honey on the floor.
And they happen to bring a half-pint jar.
Yeah,
just a little tiny jar.
A single flow hive frame must have, I don't know, at least 2 or 3 liters.
You know what, though? They do it all the time with like those Amazon pickup stations and stuff like that. You could have like that box there that you just have honey in, right? A jar of honey in each one. And when they come, they scan the code. The thing opens up. They take their jar because they've already paid for it. And Bob's your uncle. Of course.
I tried a couple of years ago. I tried a U-Pick honey farm, but that didn't go over very well.
U-Pick honey farm? Yep. Come and extract the honey out. Shake the bees.
It's out there. It's out there. See that big beehive out there? There's your honey. Go get it. Okay, let me know when you're done.
Right. The kids love it.
I don't know. People are crazy. They just, after a while, you just see them running, screaming, and yelling, and they're gone. They never come back.
So Matt says one flow frame's half a gallon, so 6 pounds. That
sounds right.
Bob's your grandfather.
What was
there you
your
go.
Moisture like
Bob's your grandpa. What's that, Doug?
What was your moisture like this year on your honey?
Oh, you're testing my memory again.
Mine was
It was good. It was like it was I think it was running 17
same
something.
here.
So it was nice moisture. It wasn't super dry, but it was well within safety.
We were low 16s with pretty well everything this year. Really dry.
Oh wow.
That's usually where
Yeah.
mine's at.
I did a little custom job for a guy and it came out 16. It was pretty dry.
Yeah.
That's where mine usually runs like 16.5, right in that area.
But that'd make nice creamed honey though too, right? Because too wet it doesn't cream very well, or
Yeah.
not very easily.
You guys are going to have me in there this weekend. Just stirring this damn thing again. And next week you'd be
Creaming
like,
honey.
well, I just bought a creamer. It's on its way.
Yeah, that's exactly what'll happen. Does V4 make a creamer?
I don't think. Hey, I need to check. I'll be like, hey, I need to do a video on a creamer. Do you have one? Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
send it to you. Great.
Well, you've got an intimate relationship with Lice, and they make a creamer.
No, I don't. They have an intimate relationship with my bank account. Is what
Oh, I
Lyson
see.
has. Better, yeah. That's what I'm saying. That was the creamers I was looking at. There were 2,000. You know.
Well, those are nice because they heat the honey too, don't they? Like, because that's the first step is to heat the honey, and
Right.
then
We don't heat it. Well, we'll use the honey out of our bottling tank. We'll heat the bottling tank and then fill the creamer.
right. So, yeah,
Can you cream it at room temperature?
That's what I did.
It'd take a while.
I didn't know about anything about creaming. I only bothered researching the mixing time, and I probably should have done more research.
So you only read the prologue of the book. You didn't actually read the book.
Like it says, mix 20 minutes and repeat 3 to 4 times.
that's
Okay,
it. That's all I need to know.
It worked.
I
It's
do the
probably
same
not
thing.
the highest
Instructions.
quality, but it worked.
Who needs the instructions?
Poor-
I can figure this
Poor
out.
Doug's been perfecting this for decades, and Alex is 20 minutes. Good. That's all I need.
No, 80 minutes.
Bob, you need to go to an antique store and get one of those old churns. You know, you could put
Like an
about
ice cream churn.
5 gallons of honey in there, and then you'd have to run out once an hour and turn it for about 10 minutes.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna like.
I would have a timer, like a Christmas light timer that turned on every 10 minutes.
But
And
if
that
this
way-
smells as good as I expect, I'm like I said, I'm gonna get one of those like big cake mixer. So I'll be able to make maybe like it's 1.5 gallons you can put in those bowls. I think it's 1 gallon.
Yeah, I think ours is 6 quarts or something. It's one of the biggest ones.
So I can make like a much larger batch. Then use the hand mixer to add the flavors. That doesn't take much time.
Yeah, that's what you know what? I think if one of these beekeeping supply stores and maybe if they had like Man Lake or something, if they came up with a like an in-store credit card, like a secondary finance company actually does all the stuff, but it's specifically for them, they would capture like a ton of the market because people would be like, oh, I've got $500 left on my Better Bee card. We're going to go ahead and run that right on up, spend 23% interest, but everybody would have nice shiny stuff. Well, I bet you it would be crazy. You know what I'm saying? If you're like, oh, hey, my $2,000 limit just came in. If I only have another $300, I can buy this. You know? Yeah, it would have to be like a $5,000 limit though, because you can't buy anything, for $2,000. Just about.
Yeah, and some store they go overboard on some stuff. The license extractor, the 30 frame. When I got it was 3,400, and a 30 frame extractor at the Another beekeeper supply store fairly close, almost 12,000 for 30 frame.
Yeah, no. Well, that's the attractive thing to me for Lyson. Now, I know how Brad feels about Lyson. He's not a big fan. And, I understand that.
Yeah, I can't justify paying 12 grand for a 30 frame extractor. Sorry.
For what you get for the price, the bang for the buck, if you will, is pretty good. And you look at, you compare it to a Hilco if you want to. It doesn't matter. Hilco is cheaper. However, for just a couple $100 more, you get a lot more. You can spin a lot more frames. Like you go from an 18 to a 30, or you know what I mean, or something like that. Or, and the thing that I liked about the Lyson for me was the motors on the bottom, the controllers on the side, and you can open the whole top up, right, either side. And it's not something where you got the motor right there on the top. So when you go to open it up, it's like stuck on there. And their equipment's worked great for me. I'm not saying it's what everybody needs to buy or anything like that. And I know Brad will never buy. So it's like, just preference in what you want and what you can afford. But I don't.
It's okay if you don't qualify that. It's okay if you don't qualify that. That's just fine. I don't mind.
Well, he bought a piece of Lyson equipment. It was a wax press, right? And he did not care for the wax press. And then they wouldn't stand behind it necessarily. So,
well, my problem was that they said it would do what it won't do.
But was it Lyson that didn't stand behind it, or the store that you bought it from wouldn't stand behind it?
Well, my biggest concern was that it was very expensive for what it was, and it was sold as something that would do a particular job, and there's no way in the world that it would do that job at all. And so, I just chalked Lyson up to a company I can't trust. So that's my opinion. And I don't fault anybody for buying Lyson equipment, because a lot of people buy it and a lot of people like it. But I will spend my dollars elsewhere.
Now,
it cost me $800 to learn that they don't always tell the truth. So,
well, another benefit that you, I don't know if, I don't know that much about it, but it just seems like listening to you and James that there's people that have equipment that you can buy secondhand. That's great equipment that you can get a good deal on. And that's not necessarily the case down here.
I put a link to what like the extractor I'm talking about. It's essentially the same thing as a Lyson 30 frame, but look at the price. It's Canadian
the trouble
dollars.
With that is sometimes, and that's why I bought that press, because I was kind of in a bind and I needed something, because I was starting up and I didn't have everything, all my ducks in a row, as it were. So that's why I bought it. And that's the thing. If you want to buy all used equipment, you kind of have to wait until you find it, and it takes some time. I bought lots of used equipment. Most of my equipment is as old as I am. But you can't just go out and say, I need X and buy it.
Are those Canadian dollars? They are.
Yes,
Canadian dollars.
That's a Canadian company.
So $12,000 or $11,900 Canadian
for a 30 frame extractor, whereas I paid $3,400 for my 30 frame extractor from Lyson. Well, so I don't know how they can justify this kind of price. It's insane.
Well, they do have a crane for honey supers in the honey house. That's pretty interesting.
See that? It's funny. I just looked at that and Bob started talking about it.
That's pretty interesting. It's just a pole that it looks like it's what? Is it pneumatic? It's pneumatic. It looks like it's got an air hose on it. So you can clamp this whole super and bring it over, right? Brad, you need one of those.
I do need it.
That would work perfect. Move it from there right to your deboxer.
Right to the deboxer.
And Bob's your grandfather.
And Bob's your grandfather. I can't remember, Doug. I think you showed a video of your honey house, didn't you? How were you moving your boxes up onto your deboxer?
Yeah. No, deboxer we don't have yet. That'll be this next purchase.
Okay, but your
Right now it's just arms.
arms is in like arms, or arms is in a some kind of a lift thing. That's the way I do it.
No, just
And we should
just by hand into it right yet.
So it's just by back,
Arms and back.
arms and
Yeah.
back. And if I looked a little distracted tonight,
You
is
actually have
the opening of college football here in the States tonight. So I've got a
Yeah.
game on the other.
Go ahead, Doug.
we actually have what is it they call them, a backhoe lift. We got that when we bought our outfit, but we haven't set it up yet. We want to set it up so it can lift the supers onto a roller tray to take to a. But that's one step at a time.
I think that's the name of what Ian had.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll be wanting to put something like that in once I get the deboxer installed.
The
There's a Hutterite colony in southern Manitoba that make a line of equipment probably comparable or better than Cowan. If
Sunny
you've got
B.
$85,000 change, you could set
Yeah.
yourself up.
Yeah,
oh, hold on, let me
They're-
go
they're
into
right-
my jar
they're
here.
right across the road from Lloyd Harris over there.
Yep.
And I looked across the road and I thought, hey, that's where they make like that wax melter I have. They made that.
I'm only $84,700 short right now.
Well, that's Canadian dollars though. So
Oh, wait a minute.
you might
Maybe I
actually
got
have
it.
enough.
I
Yeah.
might have it when I dump out the change.
Yeah.
Well,
you
the
had
first coin you find should be enough.
Yeah.
And I'll just say, if you're a Florida Gators fan, they look like hot garbage tonight. So I know we got some Florida people in here. Utah's beating the brakes off of them right now. So I know you guys don't care about that up there, really, but it's my thing this time of year. A lot of people like pro sports. I prefer collegiate sports because every year it's different, right? Different people, different teams, and stuff like that. But yeah, they're looking kind of terrible right now.
It's weird.
Hey, there's Mark Miller.
Hey, Mark
Oh.
Miller.
Go ahead, Alex.
It's weird. All my family was like fans of hockey when I was a kid. Never interested me.
Well, I love hockey being down here because it's like a boxing match until a hockey game breaks out.
Exactly. Be right back.
All right, Brad. So yeah. So what's your next steps, Doug? You're getting ready to feed them up? Are you putting treatments on the colonies? What are you guys doing up there?
Nothing just right now. Next week we'll start feeding. We put Poland
And,
patties on. We're trying to build up winter beans.
Vince Gagne asked where you're located. He's up in Canada as well.
I'm in the southeast corner of Saskatchewan.
And the
So you're out Canadian, Bob, tonight.
yeah,
Pretty good win.
I'm always out Canadian, outclassed for sure, but out Canadian tonight for sure. But it's so, and before you guys came on, we were talking about how we get the nectar flow really early here, right? Spring comes on because of our temperatures, and then it moves up north, and then you guys get it up in Canada, and you keep it all the way until it ends for you guys, right? And then all of a sudden
we still have a flow right now.
it starts rolling back down the United States, and then because we're so far south, we get it last again. So right now is the worst time where you guys get it in the spring, I think I lose as many colonies now as you guys do over the winter. This is like my winter right now. It's terrible. I'll go out there one day, the bees look great on the landing board and everything. You come out the next day and they're gone, just gone. No bees in the box. No, it's like, what in the world is going on? And, you know, with working, I don't have time to go out there during the week necessarily and be in my bees every single day. And so it's really kind of this time of year is challenging for me because you want it, I think it's our natural response as beekeepers is we're going to try to save a colony, and you know, but I've gotten to the point now to where it's like, if you're going to die, go ahead and die already. So I'm not wasting feed. I'm not wasting mite treatments on you. I'm not, you know what I mean? Just, and I've done it. If that colony looks like it's weak after coming out of the honey flow, I pretty much write it off. And then it's just like, I won't put a treatment on them. It's just, I already know they're going to die. So I'm not going to take good brood out of a good colony that did well and weaken it to give it to a colony that couldn't even make it when it was the best time of the year. Right. So it's, and it took me, 5 years to get to that point to where it's like, yeah, I'll make a split in the spring and make it happen.
I have a few colonies that look kind of grim. One that didn't progress at all, but I have extra frames. So if they made a queen, if like by next week I see eggs in that colony, they're gonna get I have 8 extra drawn frames.
But they just requeen themselves.
Yeah. If they successfully requeen themselves, I'm gonna remove their empty frames and give them the drawn frames I have, from the 8 extras I got. If not, right. I just rip everything apart and redistribute it.
So I don't know Canadian beekeeping, but in your seasons, but will they have enough time? And my response is I'm gonna say no, not knowing. Just from what I've heard in our chats and conversations, that if it's a brand new queen this time of year, that they may not have time to get strong enough without you actually taking brood from other colonies.
Like I said, I have 8 extra frames. Some of those have brood.
Okay.
So if they successfully requeen themselves, they get the help. If they didn't, I just rip the hive apart and redistribute the comb.
Charlie,
we're at the point of no return on them. If they're not strong colonies now, they're not making it.
That's right, Doug. I agree. What you got is what you got.
Yeah.
Now, if they do make a queen, would it be better? I mean, how many frames are in that colony right now with that new queen?
5. There's 5 drawn frames, and I got 8 extra.
So here's a question: do you have like a licensed poly nuke or something like that you might be able to just overwinter them in a nuke?
I have good winter insulation. I made those bee blankets with the foam tops.
So
it works really well.
And again, I don't know y'all's situation, but wouldn't it be better if you kept them in that box and just packed them with maybe a frame or 2 of brood out of those 8 frames and left them in the same box so they can really pack their environment instead of moving that colony to a bigger box and giving them more space to cover?
Well, no, I won't move them. I have my double nuke has 4 each. Of those 2 hives, I have 4 extra frames. I can take those extras and move it to the hive that's trying to requeen itself, and drop it it's 3 stories high. So if I take off 1 story, it drops down to 2. That's the wintering configuration. I have to remove those frames anyway. So I drop that double nuke to winter configuration, and the weak hive that's, if it successfully requeens itself, gets those It gets a boost, it gets feed, and they have a good shot at winter. If I don't see eggs within like by next not Saturday this week, but the week after that, they're gone. I'm culling the hive.
All right.
Is like the strawberry patch lost two queens, and last week I heard piping in one of them, so they successfully requeened themselves. At least one of them. So I'll have to again monitor those two hives in the strawberry field, and if one of them doesn't have the queen, that's more comb to redistribute.
Yeah, so like I said, I don't know enough about your guys' situation up there to speak intelligently.
I did requeen by buying a queen this late last year, and it worked. She wintered fine and they survived. So it works for me. It might be the insulation I built because I went pretty over the top by following its Intadiv's design. But if it helps the bees survive better, I don't think it's over the top at all. It's pain in the ass to build those, but they're worth it.
Boy, everybody don't speak at once. Charlie,
Yay.
talk about some
Jeremy!
single brood chamber management.
Well, I'm not doing that right now. All I'm doing is prepping for winter. I got 4 nukes out there that I've been, they were young queens here, late queens, I guess you call them, and I'm feeding them. And actually, I got some of the global patty. I got some of that out of the freezer today and cut it up in little strips and put that in there because it doesn't seem to be that much pollen coming in. And I had been feeding them some Pro Sweet and cutting it with water to one, like 1-to-1 type of stuff. And I could see a lot of them that, there's some nectar in the combs, but not a lot. So today, I don't know, for lack of time, I just went ahead and gave them straight Pro Sweet. See if they can.
Will they take it that thick this time of year?
Yeah, I'll take it. But that, and with the other way I was putting the Apis Biologic in it and all that stuff.
Yeah, mine turned bad. It turned like the brown you spoke of, Bob.
Uh-oh.
So yeah, I'll have to buy another batch.
Todd driving down there. You can tell it's a Chevrolet. Listen how loud it is.
Hey, you can't. It's the roads. It's just the roads. I'm out in the
It's
country.
always something else.
Yeah, it's always something else. In my Ford, I don't hear road noise.
Hey, I don't hear anything. Now I do. I'm going over a bridge.
See, they're all hard of hearing. They can't hear it. Everybody else can hear it, but
Well, look how fast he's driving, so he doesn't have to drive it anymore.
going fast.
My daughter's right behind me. I'm leading the parade.
You're in a parade.
There's a parade of silage trucks going the opposite way. You
Did
must be cutting silage tonight.
she just get a new car?
Yeah, I bought her a replacement car. Her other car has a blown head gasket.
Okay, so what was her first car? Her initial car?
Well, I won't get into the details. It wasn't the one I chose, but
What brand was it?
it
You
was a
chose it,
Ford. And
Oh.
it was I knew you were gonna say that.
Oh.
No, it was a Ford Focus, and
Oh, well, they haven't made those in a decade. Over a decade.
yeah, I wasn't too. Well, let's just say I had something else picked out, but it served its purpose for a while, and then it still runs, but it's gonna blow up. So
So what is the new vehicle?
she's driving a Subaru Crosstrek.
Oh, you just messed up. Because
The
Subaru owners will never own another car but a Subaru. They'll always own Subarus. They never change
that's
for whatever
okay.
reason. It's kind
Not
of
my
like
sister.
Toyotas.
Not my sister. She bought a brand new Subaru station wagon. The damn motor ain't no good in it.
Oh. Well, she's happy. She wanted a Subaru, so
Well, good for her.
I cashed in all my honey
I
sales.
thought it'd been an electric car being in California.
No. Now she can only go 150-mile radius before she has to find a charger. Do I
So
look
if you
like
get on
James?
if you get stuck on the 405, you're just screwed.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. I've heard of people putting generators in their trunk or the back of the car.
So,
The little
so when they
Honda
get
generators.
get stuck in traffic, so they can pop out the generator and charge themselves up, so they can make it home.
Probably have a beach chair and some pina coladas, and plug it in and sit down and read a book for 2 hours or however long it takes. I don't know.
So how long a drive you got till you're at the house?
I haven't eaten dinner yet, so I'm going to be cranky.
Getting hangry. With the gas can for the generator, Lee said.
Yeah, angry. What did he say?
With the gas can for the generator.
Oh, yeah. Need that. Anyway, I just.
Oh,
He's
He
done.
just popped.
oh, he came back. Yeah. Now we can't hear you.
Can't hear you.
Yeah, you're muted. Somehow. I think he just locked up bad signal.
Yeah.
All right, Todd, if you can hear me, I'm going to pop you out till you come back and can talk to us.
Uh-oh, the phone's going to get it.
But yeah, we just, I figured we'd go live tonight. And, we've been on for, 2 hours already?
In 9 minutes, 11, 12, 13.
So, I know Charlie came on late because he's having his late popcorn snack.
Well, I had a meeting.
So you got
Popcorn.
you got somebody on tomorrow night with you?
No, just you.
Oh, it's just me. Okay. Well, I just wanted to make sure. I thought you might have had a special guest or something.
Nah.
But guys, I'm gonna go ahead and shut down the live stream for this evening, and come by Charlie's channel tomorrow at 8 Eastern time, and we'll do it all over again, and have a good bee chat, because Charlie between popcorn bites has lots of information.
The bee fun never stops. Hey, Dirt Rooster.
Never stops. That's true. Oh, look at that.
Look at that.
Dirt Rooster. He was. What drive-through are you in, Randy? That's the question every time he comes on, and Lee's not here to hit the little rooster crow. So well, thank you, Carl. I appreciate it, and we'll see you guys tomorrow night over on Charlie's channel. Good night.
Good night.
Yep. I'm going
Good
to say
night.
All right, Doug.
Good night, Doug.
Doug don't mess around.